Hi guys, Rose here with the Cackling Moon, and this is going to be a video about all of my tarot decks, my oracle decks, my angel card decks. It's going to be just, I've been receiving a lot of asks on my Tumblr blog for people wanting to see my collection, and I posted a couple pictures of my stuff, but I really wanted to just kind of go through all of them. I have a huge collection that I have been just building up on for the last 2 years, and I just thought it might be nice to just finally do a video where I can just kind of show you guys what I have. So I'm gonna do these probably in increments of 3 videos because it'll be way too long to do a single video for all of the decks. I have about 40 something, almost 50 decks. So I'm gonna go with the tarot decks first, and then I'm gonna go down to oracle and then the angel cards. So let's see, let's start with the tarot. I'm gonna start first off with the very first deck that I ever had, and it was the I guess it's called the 1JJ Swiss Tarot cards. Now, these cards I actually found in a donation bin at one of my jobs, and it came in a bigger box, but this is just the little box that I keep in my my rolling drawer. Anyway, and I found these in the donation bin, and I was really curious about them, so I took them home, and I really didn't work with them. I think I did one reading for my boyfriend, which is now my husband, and I remember specifically that the first card that I ever pulled out was the death card, and I remember him being a little bit freaked out when he saw that, and so he asked me to put the cards away and let's not mess with this kind of stuff. So I put them away for the sake of him. I forgot all about them because they were up in my closet for a few years, literally, until 3 years ago when I started the tarot journey. So this was the very first deck that I've ever owned. I have the cards in a cute little pouch here. I never read with these cards. I keep them because they were the first tarot deck that I've ever had, but I've never read with them. So the backs of the cards are like a plaid orangey color, and then the cards themselves are in French. I believe it's French. And it's just, the cards are they're cute. They're different. And the minor arcana are small, like they're like cups. There's really no, it's not like the Rider-Waite. So, you know, to me, and I don't want to put, I have them in order. I never, I keep them in order. It's kind of funny that I do that, but I don't take them out. So here's the majors. Like here is, oh, maybe they're not in order unless I'm missing one or two. But anyway, see, that's the Magician. So that's the cards. I don't read with them, but I keep them for sentimental purposes because you'll just never forget your first deck. So, and some people get rid of their first deck, but I kept mine, and I've thought about it. Like I've thought about putting them up for a giveaway, but I can't part with them. So that never happened. Okay, so then after that first deck, then I started with my very first deck that I actually worked with, and I actually keep it in this wooden box that I hand painted. So I hand painted this box for the purpose of knowing that I was going to keep my tarot deck in the box. So I painted it, and then I have a couple little things like my little puppet and stuff, and some prayer cards. But I keep my tarot deck in here to keep it safe because it was my first deck that I actually worked with. Not my first, but you know what I mean. So it is the original Rider-Waite. The original Rider-Waite is a, the backs are blue, and the color scheme is a little bit different from the typical Rider-Waite deck. So the colors are a little bit more vintage looking, I guess you could say. They're not as bright and harsh, I guess. These cards are also in order. I keep them in order as well. So that's my deck, and it's old and used, and I love it. I bought this deck used as well, so if any of you guys are wondering, I'll purchase brand new decks, but I am not against purchasing used decks. So my very first deck of cards that I actually played with and learned the tarot are used deck, and you can't go wrong. I mean, I love the energy in them, so they stay in that little box. Okay, so let's just go with it now. I'm not going to go in order based on what I've got because I don't remember. So I'm going to show you guys the next deck that I really love and that it's been a favorite of mine. It is the Morgan Greer, and I've been talking about this deck on my Tumblr blog for quite some time already. So the Morgan Greer Tarot, and this is the Italian version, so it's not in English, but that's okay. I found this deck at a shop, and I absolutely love it. So the backs of the cards look like this, and Morgan Greer has no borders, and the cards themselves are just, it's like a zoomed in version of the tarot deck. And the artwork is just really pretty. They're very colorful. Very, very colorful. I love this deck. So this is what I work with. This is what I've been working with. And I've been shuffling it like crazy and spraying it with my lavender spray because I really, really, really want to break the cards in. I cannot stand a brand new deck of cards that are hard to shuffle. I can't. So I've been shuffling them like crazy. I've been carrying them around with me in my purse. That's my own way of absorbing the energy and having the cards become used to my energy. I keep them in this like funky pouch that I need to get rid of it because it's falling apart. So I gotta find another pouch for these cards. Okay. This is the Vampire Tarot, or the Tarot of Vampires. I don't have the box because it's too big. I have it in another spot. But the Tarot of Vampires has a rose as the back of the cards. Tarot of Vampire deck is so gorgeous. And for those of you guys who love kind of a darker themed deck, this is a really good deck to use. So the artwork is very pretty. There's vampires, colorful, but like in a darker sense, I guess you could say. I've posted some pictures of these on my Tumblr blog. If anybody is interested in seeing more, let me know. I can do a specific video just on a specific deck that you see here in this video. So just let me know. I would be happy to do that. This is horrible, I know, but I use a rubber band to hold them together. I don't have deck bags, and like I don't have enough for all of them. So yeah, I'm one of those people. I have a rubber band around them. But like I said, like I treat my cards with love. But I'm not one of those people that is like, you have to, you know, they're too afraid to let them bend and whatnot. I'm not afraid of that. That's not I don't care. That doesn't worry me. This next deck is the Halloween Tarot. This is the one I purchased not too long ago for my spooky readings. It is so cute. So if you guys are into Halloween, you're into spooky stuff, or even just a fun deck to have, the Halloween Tarot is really cool. So here are the backs. So they're little black cats, and the cards themselves they have like little Halloween characters. And instead of the typical pentacles, you'll have the pumpkins, and in replace of that, you'll have bats, ghosts, and imps. So really, really cute. Here's the 10 of imps. So each card has its own little theme, but it's just a Halloween-y theme. So like I said, if you guys are interested in seeing more pictures of these, I will definitely do that for you. But it follows the typical Rider-Waite theme with their pictures and imagery. So if anyone's interested in, you know, I like Rider-Waite. I love it. I learned it. That was the first thing I learned. So I like to buy decks that take on the same themes because it's easier for me to learn. I don't have to spend a lot of time learning a brand new deck. This next one is the Zerner Farber deck, and it's also pretty much the same thing as the Enchanted Tarot, but the cards are smaller. So they're smaller cards, and then this version has no borders. So the Enchanted Tarot, as most of you would probably know, has a rather large border around it. These cards don't have the borders, so it's really nice. This deck I don't work with too much. It's mostly something that I use when I take photos of the cards. I don't really work with them as far as reading them. I love them. I think they're really, really pretty. This will probably be a deck I'll use for Valentine's Day because I get a real like lovey-dovey vibe from them. That's just my own personal opinion. It's not, but you see, like with the hearts and stuff. I think it's such a gorgeous deck, but it's not one that I reach out for to do readings on a daily basis. I never read with these cards. So there's that. Next is the Albano Waite. So this is another version of the Rider-Waite deck. The color scheme is very different. I love this deck of cards. This is probably my runner-up aside from the Morgan Greer deck that I really like right now. So these cards, the backs look like this. They're white with some gold. And then I just want to show you the color scheme is a little bit different, especially when you get to like the pentacles. You can see the difference. Like the sky is green, the pentacles are green and red. It's just like a harsher kind of a color tone. Very like, there's oranges, greens, there's purples. I believe it's the swords. If I could find one. The swords have like a darker look to them. But I really, really, really liked the color scheme, and that's why I purchased this deck. This is a deck that I bought used. And it was just an instant connection as soon as I opened the cards. The only thing about this deck was that it was missing 2 cards. And that's the risk you take when you purchase the deck used. So because it was missing 2 cards, I literally pulled out the 2 cards that it was missing. I pulled it from one of my Rider-Waite decks because it's the same size, and I just use it. So sometimes if you see me using the cards when I'm shuffling, you'll get a peek. See if he's out. There he is. You'll get a peek like that. Like, whoa, what was that? How come it looked different? And it's because I use a card from my tarot deck, the original Rider-Waite. But that's just because it was missing those cards. So, but it still works. I've never had a problem. I've been giving really amazing readings with these cards. So it's just one of my babies and one of my favorites. And then this is the other Rider-Waite deck I have, and he's off to the side somewhere. He's more of a glossy kind of a look. Here's the backs of him, and the fronts, very glossy, as you can see. I like this deck as well, but a lot more so for pictures because the colors stand out. Love Rider-Waite, obviously you can tell. This is the Aquarian Tarot. I was really excited when I found this deck at a shop because I had been wanting this for so long. So I found it at a crystal shop and I bought it on the spot. I was like, I don't care how much they're selling it. Sometimes the shops will sell them for ridiculous amounts. I didn't care. My favorite card from this deck is obviously the moon card, but look at this. So I just thought that that was so pretty. This deck is really, really nice. It has a very 70s feel to it. The color scheme is a little different. The faces for the on the characters, it's white. Like it's I don't know how to explain it. They kind of look like dolls, like those glass dolls, China dolls or whatever you call them, porcelain dolls. And that's what the faces remind me of, like porcelain dolls. But regardless, I think that the cards are really pretty. So I've used this deck a few times to read with. And let me show you the wands. I love the way the wands look in this deck. Oh, the swords too. The background of the swords, it's like a purpley color. It's really pretty. But I want to show you the wands. Here we go. The wands look like flowers, kind of. And it's weird. Not a long time ago, maybe a couple years ago, I went to see, if you guys have ever heard of the corpse flower. It's a flower that blooms, and when it blooms, it smells like a dead corpse. And anyway, I went to go see this corpse flower bloomed, and it was so stinky, but it was the most gorgeous flower I've ever seen, and it's huge. It was like 6 or 7 feet tall. And that's what these wands remind me of. They remind me of the corpse flower. So every time I see them, it's like, oh, it just gives me that feeling of like, it was just such a magical moment to see that flower. And it's just like it just shows that there's beauty in everything, even if it's the ugliest scent in the world. It was just such a gorgeous looking flower, and it was so it only bloomed at that one time. So when I see the wands, that's what it always reminds me of that. I'll never forget it. Oh, and then the backs of the cards, I'm sorry. The backs of the cards are blue. And the deck is kind of glossy as well. Kind of has a glossy look to it. Next is the Tarot of Mermaids. This deck I don't work with too much, but I love mermaids. I have loved mermaids since I was a little girl, so I had to have it. And I'm only going to take out a couple because it's kind of hard to put them back in the box. So the backs of the cards look like this. Kind of like a bluish color, and there's mermaids on all four corners. And then the cards themselves, there's a large border, and the mermaids are very whimsical looking. The color scheme is a little light, and the details, like, you have to, it's kind of one of those decks where you gotta like look up real close to the cards. There's a lot of detail, but you gotta, you know, get real close to the cards in order to see the detail. You see what I mean? So it's a really, really pretty deck. I love the color schemes, but it hasn't been one that I've worked with for too long. It's just one of those decks that I really wanted because I love mermaids. But I am thinking, on my Tumblr blog, I do the daily tarot. So this month I'm doing daily fairy, and next month I'm going to be doing the daily demon. So I think I'm going to do the daily mermaid sometime next month. Probably for the month of February because that's my birthday month and I love mermaids. So I think I'm going to do that. It's kind of a good idea. Next is the Gothic Tarot deck. The Gothic Tarot is a deck that I got, sorry, the camera froze a little bit, so I don't know if that's going to make a glitch
in the video. But anyway, the Gothic Tarot I purchased specifically for the spooky for the spooky readings that I was doing on Halloween. And I fell in love with this deck. It was so, the back of the cards look like this. They're black with red. And then the cards themselves are red, black, and blue. And I really, 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 he reminds me of Nosferatu. I really love this deck. I thought it was so gorgeous. I loved the artwork. And I purchased the book that goes with it to learn. Look at this one. This is the swords, the 5 of swords. Look at how creepy, if this will focus. Look at how creepy that is. So I just love this deck. I'll show you one more. This is the 9 of Wands. Is it gonna focus? Focus. There we go. Gorgeous. So yeah, this deck I've learned to love, and I will be reading with it. I still read with it. But yeah, it's definitely one that I did not regret buying. I love this deck of cards. And they're big. They're real big. Okay, next I'm going to show you, look at this cute little deck bag. It has a moon on it. I have my demon cards in here. This is the Demon Tarot. And I keep a black onyx heart. Ugh, my nails are so, there you go. I keep a black onyx heart with the deck in the bag, specifically because it's the Demon Tarot is it has a for me for me personally, it has a pretty strong energy to it. I have not read with these cards. I am looking forward to working with these cards next month for the Daily Demon. But I have not worked with these cards as well. They are not really a tarot deck. They're called Demon Tarot, but they don't follow the tarot. They don't have like the courts. They don't have the suits. At least I don't think they do. But here's the backs of the cards. And then, you know, the front of the card has the picture of the demon, the name, and then a little message at the very bottom where it talks about what the demon does or what it's about. So these cards, I pulled a couple for myself personally to do a reading because I always do a reading on myself before I do readings for anyone else with my cards. I give myself that little benefit of that because they're my cards. But I have not read with these. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how they read. And if anyone is looking forward to seeing more about the Demon Tarot, stay tuned next month on my Tumblr blog because I'm going to be doing Demon Tarot, the Daily Demon. So we'll see how that goes. But like I said, I keep them in this bag with a crystal because the energies of them is pretty darn strong. And I'll admit it kind of gives me the creeps at times. So that's why I do that. Anyway, the Psychic Tarot. This is also a deck that I would not consider a tarot deck. I consider it more an oracle, but I put it with the tarot cards because my oracle collection is huge and there's no room in the drawer. So I keep him with the tarot deck, but he's not technically not. I don't think of him as a tarot deck. He's a beautiful deck though. And it's a he. Sometimes I give genders to my cards based on the energies that I feel with them. Here's the back of him, purple. He has gold edges, so it's really, really pretty. And then the cards themselves are numbered. They are also in order by suits, depending on the color of the border. And then they have the messages at the bottom. But because of these messages, I call this deck either a hybrid deck, hybrid meaning both tarot and oracle, or I just call them an oracle deck because I do not read them like the tarot. There's no court cards in this deck. So, really cool. Oh, and the other cool thing about this deck, there are chakra cards. So there's 7 cards for all 7 chakras. So I love it because when I do chakra readings, I use those cards for that. So. And the last one, the Star Child Tarot. Star Child Tarot is a deck that I have wanted for quite some time. This is probably the one deck that I spent the most money on. I love it, but I have not connected with it. And I'm so upset because I thought that I was going to connect with this deck of cards based on seeing the images and stuff. I knew I had to have it because it had this spacey, galactic feel to it. And then when I opened them up and I started, reading with them, the readings were very blunt. But just for some reason, I just felt like this deck was telling me, you're not ready to read with this yet. So I haven't used it much. Here are the backs. Very light colored, like a greenish gray color. And then the cards themselves have borders and they have a matte finish to them. But the images are like photographs, kind of collagey, and then it's also galactic because you have space, stars and moons and everything. But as you can see, it's like a real image of somebody. That's Temperance. These are really, really pretty cards, and every time I open them up and I look through them, I think, why the hell am I not reading with these cards? But I literally feel like I'm just not ready for them yet. I feel like these cards will grab my attention later on at a time when I'm ready to read with them. And that's okay. Sometimes we connect with our cards later on. Sometimes we purchase a deck of cards because they're meant to be in the hands of someone else that we know. So I don't know if I know I've had some of my clients gift me a deck of cards because they didn't connect with them or they wanted me to have them. And it was meant to be. It was like this deck of cards was meant to be mine. And there's a reason why, So that's sometimes you will buy a deck and it's not meant for you. It's meant for someone else. But someone that like you're connected. So that's the case, but I hope that that's not the case with this deck because of how much I paid for them. So I'm holding on to them because I really, really hope that I do connect. And it's like an oracle size. I do hope that one day I will connect with them to the point where I will read with them all the time. But until then, they just wait. They sit in my drawer. And I do bring them out every once in a while because I feel bad. But it's just one of those things. So I wanted to show that last because I wanted to tell you guys that sometimes we just don't connect. Sometimes we just don't connect with a deck of cards, and that's okay. And as I'm saying this, I realize I'm missing 2 decks. I'm missing the Witch's Tarot, and that's because I have them in my drawers, in my drawer in my room. Because sometimes I keep cards in my bedroom, sometimes I keep them in my purse or whatever. So there's 2 other decks I have. I have 2 different Witches Tarot. One of them was gifted to me by one of my favorites on Tumblr, and then the other one I purchased at a witch shop. So they're both really good decks. I love them both. But like I said, I keep them in my bedroom. I'm trying to connect more with the one that was gifted to me by Leela. And then the other one, the one that I purchased, I usually read with that too. So that one stays with me in my bedroom as well. So anyways, that is my tarot collection. Stay tuned for the next video. I don't know if I'll be posting it tonight. I probably will because I have nothing else to do. But stay tuned. The next video is going to be my Oracle collection, and then I'm going to do a separate video for my angel cards. So see you guys later.